Hello everyone, welcome to Insight IAS Academy. Today we are going to discuss a test paper on environment and ecology. So total 100 questions are there, out of which 80 questions are related to environment and ecology and 20 questions are on current affairs. In this particular paper, we have questions from most of the topics that are mentioned in the syllabus. Like questions are there on environmental ecology, that means basic ecology related terms, environmental ecology. Then questions are also there on biodiversity and its conservation, which is also an important part of our syllabus, biodiversity and conservation. Right? For example, various IUCN status, different acts like Biodiversity Act, Wildlife Protection Act and all. Then questions are also there on climate change. Then questions are there on pollution, various types of pollution, air pollution, water pollution, different acts related to pollution like EPA, Environment Protection Act 1986. And also questions are there on various laws that we have already referred to. So let us start with the discussion of this test. First question is, with reference to the wetlands and its types, read the following statements carefully. Right? So we know that wetlands are the water bodies where, or they are the habitat where water is a prime determinant of the factors or the conditions of wetlands. And as a result of that, we can say that water influences the organisms living in wetland ecosystem. Let us consider these statements. First, wetlands are shallow systems with black and rich sediments and abundant nutrients. Right? So mostly the nutrients that are present in the wetlands are of black color, or sediments that are present in wetlands are of black color, and that's why first statement is a correct statement. Second, marshes are waterlogged areas saturated with groundwater or rainwater and may contain low shrubs. Now this statement is an incorrect statement because marshes are, yes, they may be the areas with waterlogged conditions, and that waterlogging may be of groundwater or rainwater, but in marshes we have woody vegetation, right? And this explanation is related to bogs. It is not related to marshes, it is related to bogs, and that's why second statement is incorrect. Third, marshes and swamps are marked by full penetration of light, and consequently high photosynthetic activity is witnessed in these areas. Right? So marshes and swamps are important types of wetlands. In marshes, yes, we have the presence of sunlight because marshes are woody wetlands. In marshes, what we have woody vegetation. Right? And that woody vegetation will not be too dense, and hence penetration of sunlight or penetration of the sunlight will be there. Similarly, in swamps are those wetlands which are dominated by grasses, and hence most of the times grasses, they have low height, and that's why penetration of sunlight will be there in swamps as well. So that's why third statement is a correct statement. In both marshes and swamps, we have the presence of sunlight. Fourth, wetlands help in recharging groundwater and in purifying water by trapping and holding pollutants in the soil. Right? So this is also a correct statement regarding wetlands. This is considered as one of the service that we receive from wetland, because as water percolates in wetland, it leads to trapping up of the pollutants or whatever impurities are there in water, and as a result of that, groundwater gets a pure form of water. Fourth statement is also a correct statement. Which of the statements given above are correct? So only second statement is incorrect. Only second statement is incorrect. First, third and fourth statements are correct, and that's why answer of this question is A. Question number 1, answer is A. Next question is question number 2. Read the following statements carefully and select the correct answer from code given below. First, pyramid of biomass is the one in which the total dry weight, color value or other measures of living matter are depicted. Right? So that statement is a correct statement because we know that biomass is a dry weight, and as biomass of different trophic levels will be different, obviously there will be different color values to the biomass associated with different trophic levels. So first statement is a correct statement. Second, pyramid of biomass is always upright because smaller species have less biomass than larger species. Now this statement is an incorrect statement because we know that pyramid of biomass can be both upright as well as inverted. For a terrestrial ecosystem, it will be an upright pyramid of biomass, but for aquatic ecosystem, the pyramid of biomass is inverted. Why it is inverted? Because despite small mass of, let's say, phytoplanktons, which are producers in aquatic ecosystem, as they have huge number, cumulatively they will have a biomass which will be lesser than the higher species like zooplanktons or even higher species like, let's say, blue whales. And that's why in aquatic ecosystem, the pyramid of biomass is inverted pyramid of biomass. So second statement, that's why, is incorrect. First is correct. Third, the biomass of an ecosystem or any of its components at a given time is also known as standing crop biomass. Right? So biomass associated with a particular ecosystem or organisms will be called as standing biomass. Third statement is also a correct statement. So in this particular question, first statement is correct, second statement is incorrect, third is correct, and that's why answer should be 1 and 3 only. Second question, answer is B. Next, third question. Consider the following characteristic features of a biome. Right? So you must have studied about different levels of ecological organization like individual, population, community, ecosystem, and then biome. Right? So let us consider the statements or characteristics of biomes. So what we are supposed to find, which of the given above is are characteristic features of tundra biome. Right? So which are the features of tundra biome? First, long and harsh winters. Yes, because tundra biomes we know that are present between the latitudes of 70 degree north to 80 degree north. So in those latitudes, yes, we have long and harsh winters. First is correct. Second, precipitation in summer. So this statement is also a correct statement because in tundra region, only during summer season we have the availability of precipitation. Third, high diversity of species. So in tundra region, we know that conditions are not favorable conditions. So if conditions are not favorable, obviously life will not be in high diversity, and thus diversity in tundra biome will always be lesser, and that's why third statement is incorrect statement. Fourth, stable and durable ecosystem. Again, this statement is incorrect. During summer season, when there will be availability of water, only in that particular time we will have availability of ecosystem. Otherwise, ecosystem will not be present in tundra biome, and that's why there is no question of stability and durability in the ecosystem, and hence even fourth statement is incorrect. And that's why answer is 1 and 2 only. So only 1 and 2 are the characteristic features of tundra biome, and that's why answer of this question is B, 1 and 2 only. Question number 3, answer is B. Next question. Fourth, read the following statements carefully about mangroves. First statement, mangroves are salt-tolerant trees with interlacing roots that grow in shallow marine sediments and are often found just inland of coral reefs. Right? So this statement is a correct statement regarding mangroves. Mangroves, we know that, are present in the littoral zones. That means a zone of transition between land and water. It is not exactly on land, and also it is not exactly in water, and that's why it is in the littoral zones. And these mangroves, as they have to grow in a waterlogged condition, they have interlacing roots. those interlacing roots are also called as breathing roots. They are also called as nematophores. Right? First statement, that's why, is a correct statement. Second, mangroves provide valuable ecosystem services as they serve as breeding grounds and nurseries for fish species, nesting sites for birds, and offering coastal protection during cyclones. Right, so this statement is also a correct statement. Mangroves provides us various kinds of services. For example, they are breeding ground for various species. They are nesting sites for migratory birds especially, and also they protect coastal ecosystem from the onslaught of cyclonic surges. So second statement is also a correct statement. Third, India has approximately 70% of the world's total mangrove area. This statement is incorrect statement, right? India consists of approximately 45% of mangroves in South Asia, right? And South Asia in total consists of around 7% of the global mangroves, and that's why the percentage of mangroves in India is lesser. It is not 70%, and that's why third statement is incorrect. Next, fourth, the presence of mangroves is threatened by coastal development, logging, and shrimp aquaculture. Right? So mangroves are present in littoral biome, littoral ecosystem, and that littoral ecosystem is fragile. It is getting disturbed because of the activities like coastal development, logging activities, and also shrimp farming or shrimp aquaculture. So this statement is a correct statement related to threats of mangroves. Answer is C, 1, 2, and 4. Third statement is incorrect. Answer is 1, 2, and 4. C. Fifth question. Consider the following statements. First, biomagnification occurs within an organism in a trophic level, where a concentration of a substance builds up in the tissues and is absorbed faster than it is removed. Now, this statement is not related with biomagnification. It is related with bioaccumulation, because bioaccumulation occurs, or during bioaccumulation, the accumulation of pollutant occur within the body of an organism in tissues or in different body parts, right? And that's why this statement is related to bioaccumulation, not related to biomagnification, and hence it is incorrect. Second, mercury and DDT are among the few toxic substances that can undergo biomagnification in the aquatic food chain. So this statement is a correct statement. In aquatic food chain, biomagnification occurs, and that may be the result of contamination in the form of mercury or DDT. Right? So in biomagnification, what happens? In biomagnification, the concentration of pollutants increases as pollutants are transferred from one trophic level to the next trophic level. Right? So second statement is a correct statement. Third, high concentration of toxic substances can cause thinning of eggshells of birds and their premature breaking. Right, so this statement is an important consequence of biomagnification or high concentration of toxic materials, which may occur because of biomagnification. So if there are toxic materials present, they may lead to premature breaking up of eggshells, because eggshells become weak, and that will have a huge impact on the population of birds. So third statement is also a correct statement. So only second and third statements are correct, and that's why answer of this question is C. Question number 5, answer is C. Next question, sixth. In the context of grasslands, consider the following statements. First, they are the vast expanses of plains and rolling hills in the interiors of the continents, right? So this statement is a correct statement regarding grasslands, because grasslands are the locations with vast plain area, and sometimes we may have rolling hills. Sometimes we may have hills present in the grasslands, right? And they are often present in the interiors of the continents. First statement is correct. Second, the soil in these areas is rich and deep which supports growth of many grass species, sparse bushes, and occasional woodlands. So this statement is also a correct statement regarding grasslands. Grasslands are the locations where we have a highly nutritious soil, and that soil is called as Chernozem. This soil helps us in the growth of nutritious grasses, and that's why these areas are famous for dairy industry, because cattle in these areas have availability of nutritious grasses, leading to good production of dairy products like milk and other products, and thus dairy industry is important in grassland location. Second statement is correct. Third, savannas are temperate grasslands with widely scattered clumps of low trees. Incorrect statement, because savannas, we know that, are tropical grasslands. They are not temperate grasslands. So third statement is incorrect. What are the examples of temperate grasslands? Temperate grasslands are like steppes, prairies, which have different names like veld, downs, Canterbury plains, etc. Right? So third statement is incorrect. First and second are correct. So how many statements are correct? Only 2 statements are correct, and that's why answer is B, only 2. Question number 6, answer is B. Seventh, in the context of sacred groves in India, which of the following statements are correct? First, in India, they are protected by local communities through social traditions, right? So this statement is a correct statement. We know that there are people who worship some group of trees or forest, and as a result of that, that forest will be considered as sacred groves. So due to social practices, they are getting protected, and that's why first statement is correct. Second, they represent native vegetation in a natural or near natural state and are rich in biodiversity. So this statement is also a correct statement, because these sacred groves are almost no-go zones. That means these sacred groves will not be exploited for various forest produce, be it timber, nuts, leaves, etc. Most of the times they will be kept in their natural or near natural form. Second statement is correct. Third, they often contain species that have disappeared in other places, and some rare medicinal plants are also found in these areas. So this statement is also a correct statement, because in sacred groves, as they are not disturbed, we may have the presence of certain species which have got extinct in other parts. Also, we may have the presence of certain medicinal plants. So all these 3 statements are correct. Fourth statement, they play an important role in water conservation as they absorb water during monsoon season. So if trees are maintained in the form of sacred groves, obviously it will help in water management, because water will percolate in the ground because of the presence of these trees. So fourth statement is also correct statement. So all these 4 statements are correct. So we are supposed to find out correct statements. Answer is D, 1, 2, 3 and 4. All statements are correct. Next now, 8th. Consider the following statements. First, the coastal zone extends from the high tide mark on land to the edge of the continental shelf. Right? So this statement is a correct statement. Aquatic ecosystem can be divided into 2 parts. First, coastal zone, and second, open water zone or open ocean zone. So first zone is coastal zone, and it extends from high tide line towards the continental edge of the continental shelf. So first statement is a correct statement. Second, bathyal zone is the upper part of the ocean where there is enough light for phytoplanktons to carry out photosynthesis. Now this statement is an incorrect statement. Why it is incorrect? We discussed that there are 2 parts of aquatic ecosystem. First, coastal zone, which is near the coasts, or which extends from high tide line towards the edge of continental shelf. Second is open ocean zone. This open ocean zone is further divided into 3 parts. First is euphotic zone, second is bathyal zone, and third is abyssal zone. So the statement, second statement, which says that bathyal zone is the upper part of ocean where enough light is available for phytoplanktons to carry out photosynthesis is actually a statement related to euphotic zone. It is not a statement related to bathyal zone, and that's why second statement is incorrect. Third, abyssal zone is too dark for photosynthesis, but some producer organisms are also found in this zone. So this statement is a correct statement. Generally, abyssal zone is devoid of sunlight, and that's why there will not be photosynthesis. But there may be release of some nutrient-rich water from hydrothermal vents from the ocean surface or ocean floor. There, the activity of chemosynthesis will be seen by certain organisms, and that's why they are also the producer organisms. They are not carrying out photosynthesis, they are carrying out chemosynthesis. Third statement is correct. First and third statements are correct. We are supposed to find out correct statement. Answer is C, 1 and 3 only. So, 8th question, answer is C. 9th question. Read the following statements about ecological niche. So, ecological niche, what it demarcates or what it represents the functional role as well as position of an organism in a particular ecosystem. First statement, niche refers to the unique functional role and position of a species in its habitat or ecosystem. Correct statement. Second, no two species in a same habitat can have the same niche. So this is also a correct statement, right? So niche, if it is same, it will lead to competition because functional role is same. It will lead to competition and one of the species will be wiped out. So second statement is correct. No two species can have same niche. Third, a home range is an area in which an animal lives and moves on a daily or periodic basis. So this statement is also a correct statement. Home range is the exact location where animal or where a particular species carries out its day-to-day activities. That is what is called as home range. So all these three statements are correct statements. Answer is D because we are supposed to find out correct statements only. 9th question, answer is D. 10th, consider the following pairs. So on one hand we have aquatic organisms and on other we have their examples, and we are supposed to find out how many pairs are correctly matched. So first pair is planktons and it is matched with sponges, oysters and barnacles. So this is incorrect pair. Why? Because planktons generally consist of, let's say, dinoflagellates, diatoms, etc. It does not consist of sponges, oysters and barnacles. So first pair is incorrect. Nectons are swimmers. They are like fishes. So if they are matched with crawfish and brittle star, again it is incorrect because crawfish and brittle stars are the organisms which are found in the ocean floor. Third is benthos. So benthos, it is matched with fishes, turtles and whales which are actually nectons, and that's why third pair is also incorrect. Fine. So which are benthos? Benthos are sponges, oysters, barnacles, crawfish and brittle stars. They are benthos. They are living on the ocean floor. So none of these pair is correct, and that's why answer is D, none. Answer of 10th question is D. 11th, read the following statements about phosphorus cycle carefully. So we know that biogeochemical cycles consist of two types. First, nutrient cycles which have air as an important component. They are also called as gaseous cycles, and second is sedimentary cycles. Phosphorus cycle is an example of sedimentary cycle. Let us consider the statements first. It is an example of sedimentary type of cycle having its main reservoir in the air. Incorrect statement. Most of the statement is correct, but this part makes it incorrect. If it is sedimentary, obviously nutrients will not be cycled from air, it will be cycled from soil. First statement is incorrect. Second, in this cycle, absorption of phosphorus by the higher plants is promoted by the presence of mycorrhizae. So this statement is a correct statement. Mycorrhizae is a kind of fungus, and if plants form an association with mycorrhizae, it leads to absorption of phosphorus from a large area. So second statement is correct. Third, as parts As part of this cycle, the phosphates enter marine deposits through leaching and become fixed in relatively insoluble form. So this statement is a correct statement. In aquatic ecosystem, availability of phosphates is through the process of leaching, and once it is there in aquatic ecosystem, it gets locked up in the form of sedimentary rocks. Second and third statements are correct. We are supposed to find out correct statements only. Answer is C, 2 and 3 only. Question number 11, answer is C. Next, 12th question. How many of the following factors dominates in determining which type of organism thrive in an aquatic life zone? Right? Basically, question is asking which factors play an important role in the aquatic ecosystem. Right? So first, light penetration. Yes, it plays an important role because due to penetration of light, aquatic ecosystem will be divided into photic zone and aphotic zone. Second, precipitation, it does not have any role in aquatic ecosystem. Third, water salinity plays an important role in aquatic ecosystem. Fourth, nutrient levels also play an important role. Fifth, ocean currents also maintain, let's say, water temperature, water salinity and all. And that's why factors that play an important role are first, third, fourth and fifth. First, third, fourth and fifth, that means 4 factors. So answer of this question is 4. Only 4 factors are playing important role. Answer is C. 12th, answer is C. 13th. With reference to black lung disease, read the following statements carefully. So black lung disease is a kind of occupational disease which is seen in people who work in coal mines. As they work in coal mines for a long period of time, they inhale coal dust, and that will lead to black lung disease. Let us consider these statements. First, this disease normally affects the older workers in the coal industry, right? So this is a correct statement. Why? Because with time there will be accumulation of coal dust leading to this disease. Second, this disease is the result of exposure to coal dust, and it can be detected by using X-rays before it causes any symptoms. So this statement is also a correct statement. In order to detect this before the presence of symptoms, we can use X-rays. Third, the primary symptom of this disease is shortness of breath, which gradually gets worse as the disease progresses. Right? So this is also a correct statement. The hardening of lungs will be seen, and as a result of that, availability of oxygen will reduce. So all these 3 statements are correct statements regarding black lung disease. We are supposed to find out correct statements. Answer of this question is 1, 2 and 3. Question number 13, answer is D. 14th. With reference to in situ conservation, read the following statements carefully. First, it includes the storage of seeds in bank, breeding of captive animal species in zoos, and setting up of botanical gardens. So if it is seed banks, if it is zoos, if it is botanical gardens, obviously it is not in situ conservation, it is ex situ, and that's why first statement is incorrect statement, because question is asking us about in situ conservation. Second, the local people living near the reserve are often involved in the conservation process. Incorrect statement. In situ conservation, when we carry out, we make sure that there is no disturbance even from people living in the vicinity. Second statement is also incorrect. Third, a special case of in situ approach is on-farm conservation. Right? So sometimes as a special case of in situ conservation, on-farm conservation is also carried out because the farm location provides near natural conditions for the conservation, and that's why sometimes it is also used in situ conservation. Third statement is a correct statement. So we are supposed to find out statements which are not correct. How many statements are not correct? So 2 statements are not correct, and that's why answer of this question is only 2. 13th question, answer is B. 14th question, answer is B. 15th question now. Read the following statements carefully. First, ecotone is a zone of gradual but continuous change from one ecosystem to another when there is no sharp boundary. So this statement is an incorrect statement because we know that ecotone is a zone of transition between two ecosystems, right? For example, there is a water present here and land present here. So these are two different ecosystems. So in between them, we will have littorals. So these littorals can be considered as ecotone. It is a zone of transition between two ecosystems, and that's why first statement is an incorrect statement. It does not define ecotone. Second, an ecoline is a zone of junction or a transition area between two biomes when there is a sharp boundary between the two in terms of species composition, right? So this is again not an explanation of ecoline. In fact, these two statements are interchanged, right? So ecoline is a zone of gradual but continuous change from one ecosystem to another. On the other hand, ecotone is a zone of transition. So these statements are interchanged, and that's why they are incorrect. Third, edge effect refers to the changes in population or community structures that occur at the boundary of two habitats, right? So this statement is correct statement. It is ecotone wherein we'll be able to see edge effect, right? And due to edge effect, we may have the presence of certain population in high diversity, right? So third statement is correct. Edge effect refers to changes in population or community structure that occur at the boundary of two habitats. So third statement is correct statement. We are supposed to find out correct statement, so only third is correct, and that's why answer of this question is C, 3 only. Question number 15th, answer is C. Next now, 16th. Consider the following statements regarding desertification. First, it is a form of land degradation that occurs in arid and semi-arid areas due to both human activities and climatic changes. So first statement is a correct statement because desertification, yes, it is land degradation and it may occur because of human beings or certain climatic changes. Second, approximately 1/3 of the Earth's land area is affected by desertification. So this is again a correct statement. Approximately 50 million square kilometer of area is affected by the land degradation or desertification. So it is 1/3 of Earth's surface. Correct statement. Third, desertification primarily affects regions such as the northern Sahel, the African Sahel, Asia, Latin America, North America, and areas along the Mediterranean, right? So all these locations are associated with desert, and that's why third statement is also a correct statement. So all these three statements are correct. We are supposed to find out how many are incorrect. None is incorrect, and that's why answer is D. Next question is question number 17. With reference to fuel cells, consider the following statements. First, they work like batteries, but they do not run down on or need recharging. So this statement is an incorrect statement. Why? Because they do not work like batteries. Batteries need recharging. But fuel cells, until and unless you supply it fuel or until and unless you cut down its supply of fuel or oxygen, it won't stop. And that's why they do not need recharging. And that's why they are not like batteries which need recharging. And that's why first statement is an incorrect statement. They do not work like batteries. Second, in fuel cells, hydrogen combines with oxygen to produce water vapor, right? So that statement is correct. Third, no carbon dioxide is produced while generating energy from a fuel cell. So this is also a correct statement. So second and third statements are correct statements. We are supposed to find out which of the statements are not correct. So only one is not correct, and that's why answer is A. 17th, answer is A. 18th, consider the following factors. Which of the factors given above are responsible for causing land degradation? First factor, erosion, right? So erosion leads to land degradation. First statement is correct. Second, waterlogging, yes, it also leads to accumulation of salts in land that further leads to land degradation. Salinization again leads to land degradation, and desertification is also a reason of land degradation. So all these 4 factors lead to land degradation, and that's why answer of this question is D, 1, 2, 3 and 4. 18th question, answer is D. 19th, with reference to natural gas, read the following statements carefully. First, natural gas forms from plants, animals and microorganisms that lived millions of years ago, right? So due to the process of fossilization, natural gas is formed, and that's why first statement is a correct statement. Second, India does not have any large reserve of natural gas. Incorrect statement. We have reserves of natural gas in Krishna Godavari basin, also in parts of Rajasthan, Assam, we have the presence of natural gas. Third, natural gas contains methane and smaller amounts of propane and butane as well. This statement is a correct statement. Most of it, that means almost 75% of natural gas is methane. But at the same time, it also consists of propane and butane. First and third statements are correct statements. We are supposed to find out correct statements. Answer is B, 1 and 3 only. Question number 19th, answer is B. 20th question, consider the following statements regarding green revolution. First, it refers to the rapid increase in food production primarily through the use of lab-engineered high-yielding varieties of seeds, right? So this statement is a simple statement, correct statement. Second, it was successful in achieving self-sufficiency in food in developing countries like India, right? So India was able to become self-sufficient in food grains because of green revolution. Third statement, it brought about a shift from traditional agriculture and introduced the use of chemical fertilizers, pesticides, water and machinery, right? So this statement is a correct statement. In green revolution, we know that high yielding varieties of seeds were used, machines were used, then use of chemical fertilizers was also there in green revolution. Third statement is correct. So next, fourth statement, it benefited large landowners as well as subsistence farmers. This statement is incorrect statement because it largely benefited large landowners because subsistent farmers might not have resources to get high yielding varieties of seeds, as well as they might not have machinery, and also chemical based fertilizer might not be used by them, and that's why it did not benefit subsistent farmer. It only benefited large landowners. So only first 3 statements are correct. We are supposed to find out correct statements only. Answer is B, 1, 2 and 3. 20th question, answer is B. 21. Consider the following acts, conventions related to the environment. Arrange the given above acts or conventions in ascending order of their enactment year from earliest to latest and choose the correct answer in the following code. So first is Biological Diversity Act. It was enacted in year 2002. Then Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species of Wild Fauna and Flora, that is CITES. It came into being in 1975. Then Convention on Biological Diversity came into being in 1993. And then we have Wildlife Protection Act of 1972. So ascending order we have to form. So firstly it will be Wildlife Protection Act, then CITES, then CBD, Convention on Biological Diversity, and then Biodiversity Act. So its answer should be 4231. 4231, which is mentioned in option C. So question number 21, answer is C. 22. Read the following statements carefully about mining. First, underground mining is the most environment friendly type of mining, and it does not have any effect on the environment. So this statement is an incorrect statement, right? So yes, it does not have any effect on environment, but it is not considered as most environment friendly type of mining, because it also leads to extraction of minerals from the earth's surface, and it may lead to other problems like pollution of groundwater. It may lead to falling up of floors or ceilings of those mines, and that may lead to that death of people working in those mines. Right? And that's why it is not environment friendly. It leads to pollution of groundwater. So first statement is incorrect. Second, surface mining destroys vegetation, causes dust pollution, and it results in the formation of large craters. Right? So this statement is a correct statement. Surface mining has these impacts. Third, the processing of mined material often involves the use of mercury, cyanide, and large quantities of water. Right, so this statement is also a correct statement. Mercury and cyanide are primarily used in gold mining. For the processing of gold near mine, cyanide and mercury are used, and also it needs lots of water as well. So second and third statements are correct. Fourth, mining induced displacement and resettlement results in the loss of land, livelihood, increased health risk, and changes in population dynamics. So that is a correct statement. So first statement is incorrect. Second, third, fourth are correct. We are supposed to find out correct statements. Answer is C, 2, 3 and 4 only. Next, 23. In the context of photochemical smog, consider the following statements. So photochemical smog is a secondary pollutant, and it is formed because of the nitrogen oxides and VOCs reacting with each other in the presence of sunlight. Also, certain secondary pollutants contribute in the formation of photochemical smog, and those secondary pollutants are aldehydes. Then even the photochemical smog is formed because of ozone, ground level ozone, which is also called as tropospheric ozone. That also leads to formation of photochemical smog. But primarily two important pollutants contribute in the formation of photochemical smog. They are oxides of nitrogen, and second is VOCs, volatile organic compounds. Let us consider the statements. First, it is a common type of smog formed by chemical reaction between sunlight, unburnt hydrocarbons, ozone, and other pollutants. This statement is a correct statement. Second, on cold days, it is visible as a hazy shroud, especially in congested cities. Incorrect statement. Photochemical smog is also called as summer smog. Why? Because it needs sunlight for its formation, and that's why during summer season we will have maximum presence of photochemical smog, not during cold days, and that's why second statement is incorrect. So we are supposed to find out correct statement. Only one is correct, and that's why answer is A, one only. 23, answer is A. 24th, with reference to biosphere reserve of India, biosphere reserves of India, consider the following pairs. So on one hand we have biosphere reserves, and on other we have their states. So Achnakar Amarkantak is there in Chhattisgarh, correct. Agastya Malai is not there in Karnataka, it is there in Kerala. Kanchenjunga is not there in Meghalaya, it is there in Sikkim. Simlipal Biosphere Reserve, yes, it is there in Odisha. Right, so answer is 1 and 4. We are supposed to find out which pairs are correctly matched. 1 and 4 are correctly matched, and that's why answer is B. 24, answer is B. 25. Consider the following air pollutants. How many of these of the given above are examples of primary air pollutants? So what are primary air pollutants? Primary air pollutants are those air pollutants which are emitted from their source itself. They are not formed as a result of reaction between certain pollutants and certain atmospheric factors. No, they are directly emitted from their source. For example, carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide are primary pollutants because from their source they are emitted in the atmosphere. We are supposed to find out such primary air pollutants. So particulate matters are primary air pollutants. Ozone is not a primary air pollutant. Benzene is a primary air pollutant. Even methane is a primary air pollutant. Sulfur trioxide is not a primary air pollutant. Only first, third and fourth, that means only 3 are primary pollutants, and hence answer is A, only 3. 25, answer is A. 26. Which of the following are major ecological services provided by forest? First, chemical cycling, which is also called as biogeochemical cycling. So first is correct. Second, it reduces soil erosion. That is also a service that we get from forest. Purification of water. Yes. Fourth, influence local and regional climate. This is also a kind of service that we get from forest. Fifth, store atmospheric carbon sink, right? So all these are the services that we get from forest. So answer is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is mentioned in option D. 26th answer is D. 27th, in the context of organic farming, which of the following statements are correct? First, it is a type of farming which avoids the use of fertilizers, manures, pesticides, growth regulators, and livestock feed additives. Now, on the face of it, this statement looks okay, but they have also used manure term, which makes it incorrect, right? Manure is used in organic farming, and that's why first statement is incorrect statement. Second, in this type of farming, all kinds of agricultural products can be produced organically, including grains, meat, dairy, eggs, fibers such as cotton, jute, flowers, etc. Right? So that is possible. So in organic farming, we can take any kind of produce. Only condition is that we will not use chemical-based fertilizers, pesticides, seeds, etc. Whatever is natural, whatever is present in the organic form, in the unprocessed form, that we will be using. Right? So second statement is correct. Third, organic farmers rely on diverse population of soil organisms, beneficial insects and birds to keep pests in check. Right? So this statement is a correct statement. So only second and third statements are correct, and that's why answer is B, 2 and 3 only. Question number 27, answer is B. 28. With reference to eco-labeling in India, consider the following statements. Right? So eco-labeling is also called as eco-mark, and it is started by CPCB in India to make sure that people become more aware about environment-friendly products. Let us consider the statements. First, it was started by Government of India to support environment-friendly practices of production. First statement is correct. Second, presently, this process is limited to household and some consumer products to meet certain environment criteria. So presently, eco-labeling is available for detergents, soaps, papers, etc., not for other products as of now. Third, eco-label is issued by Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. Incorrect. Eco-labels are issued by Central Pollution Control Board. So third statement is incorrect. First two are correct, and that's why answer is B, 1 and 2 only. 28th question, answer is B. 29th. Which of the following are characteristic features of the sites where disposal of nuclear waste can take place? So nuclear waste we have to place or we have to store in such a location which does not have presence of minerals, which does not have presence of, let's say, water. So let us consider the statements. First, low precipitation. Yes, those locations should have low precipitation. Second, deep water table. Yes, that is also one of the criteria. It should have deep water table. Third, absence of exploitable resources is also a criteria. Fourth, presence of surface water. Incorrect. Absence of surface water is the criteria. Fifth, low possibility of tectonic movements is also one of the criteria in the selection of locations for the disposal of nuclear waste. So answer is 1, 2, 3 and 5. 1, 2, 3 and 5 is mentioned in option C. Question number 29, answer is C. 30th question. With reference to the hotspots of biodiversity, read the following statements carefully. First, biodiversity is uniformly distributed across the geographical regions of the earth. So this statement is an incorrect statement because we know that biodiversity is not uniformly distributed. There are locations with high biodiversity and also we have locations where biodiversity is little. And that's why there is no uniform distribution of biodiversity. Second, no hotspots of biodiversity are found in India. Again, incorrect. We have 4 biodiversity hotspots. So both these statements are incorrect regarding hotspots of biodiversity, and that's why answer is D. Next, 31. In the context of ecosystem diversity, consider the following statements. First, it refers to the variety of genes contained within species of plants, animals, microorganisms in an ecosystem. Incorrect statement. So if it is talking about genes, it should be genetic diversity, not ecosystem diversity. And that's why first statement is incorrect. Second, the most biodiversity rich region in India are Western Ghats and the northeastern region. So the second statement is correct. Western Ghats and northeastern regions are most biodiversity rich regions. Third, about 33% of the flowering plants recorded in India are endemic to our country. So this statement is also a correct statement. Out of all the plants, or out of all the flowering plants that we have in India, 33% of the flowering plants are only present in India. So second and third statements are correct, and that's why answer is 2 and 3 only, because we are supposed to find out correct statements only. So question number 31, answer is C. 32. Consider the following statements. Consider the following factors. How many of the factors given above determines the degree of diversity in an ecosystem or community? Right. So degree of diversity is determined by habitat stress. If habitat stress is more, biodiversity will be lesser. Second, dominance by one species is also a key determinant of biodiversity, because if a particular species is dominant, obviously biodiversity will reduce. Age effect also plays an important role in the determining of biodiversity. Then geological history also plays an important role, because if a particular region is geologically stable, there we will have more biodiversity. So all these four factors play an important role in the biodiversity of a region, and that's why answer should be all four. All four factors determine biodiversity. 32, answer is D. 33, consider the following pairs. So on one hand, we have IUCN status of species, and on other we have that species. We are supposed to find out which are correctly matched, which pairs are correctly matched. So first, critically endangered is matched with red panda. It is incorrect. Red panda is endangered, not critically endangered. Second is endangered, and it is matched with pygmy hog, which is again incorrect. In fact, it is reversed. So critically endangered are pygmy hog and red pandas are endangered. Third, vulnerable, it is matched with black buck, which is correct. Right? So only one pair is correct, and that's why answer is A, only one pair. Right? So black bucks are vulnerable. This pair is correct. Answer is A. 33, answer is A. 34. In the context of biodiversity, consider the following statements. First, in our biosphere, immense diversity exists only at species level. So this statement is incorrect statement, because biodiversity is present at all three levels, not only at the level of species. It is present at the level of genes. Genetic diversity is also more, then species diversity is also more, and even ecosystem diversity is more. So it is not only present in species level. Incorrect statement. Second, the term biodiversity was popularized by sociobiologist W.G. Rosen. Incorrect statement. It was popularized by Edward Wilson. Right? So second statement is incorrect. Third, Western Ghats have a greater amphibian species diversity than Eastern Ghats. Right? So this statement is a correct statement. So only third statement is correct. We are supposed to find out which are not correct. First two are not correct, and that's why answer is A, 1 and 2 only. 34th, answer is A. 35th. Consider the following statements regarding the Water Prevention and Control of Pollution Act 1974. First, the main objective of this act is to maintain or restore the wholesomeness and purity of water in the streams of wells or on land. First statement is correct. Second, this act empowers CPCB to establish and enforce effluent standards for factories and control sewage discharges into the water bodies of the state. So this part is important, of the states. So if it is of the states, it will not be determined by CPCB, it will be determined by SPCBs, State Pollution Control Boards, and that's why second statement is incorrect. First is correct, second is incorrect. Third, This act grants the state pollution control boards the power to ensure compliance through entry, examination, testing of equipments, and the analysis of water samples. So that is a correct statement. SPCBs can carry out testing so that they will be able to enforce standards set by them. So only first and third statements are correct. We are supposed to find out correct statements. Answer is C, 1 and 3 only. 35, answer is C. 36. With reference to Wildlife Protection Act 1972, consider the following pairs. So on one hand we have schedules and on other we have their information. So schedule 1, yes, it is about endangered species. First is correct. Second, schedule 2, yes, it is about those species that require special protection. Third, schedule 4, it is about, its information is few species classified as vermins. Incorrect statement. We know that schedule 3 and 4 is related to those species which are not threatened, which are not endangered, right? And that's why schedule 4, which is matched with vermins, is incorrect. Schedule 5 consists of vermins, which is the next pair. Schedule 5, it is matched with protected species, which is incorrect. Fine. So schedule 5 consists of those species which will be considered as vermins. So third and fourth pairs are incorrect. First and second pairs are correct. We are supposed to find out correctly matched. So answer is B, 1 and 2 only. 36, answer is B. 37. With reference to noise pollution, read the following statements carefully. First, in India, noise is included in the Environment Protection Act 1986 as air pollutant. Incorrect statement. So in India, noise is included as a part of Air Act, not Environment Protection Act. First statement is incorrect. It is an air pollutant, but not under Environment Protection Act, but under Air Act 1981. First statement is incorrect. Second, a brief exposure to extremely high sound level of about 150 decibels or more can damage eardrums and thus can permanently impair hearing ability. So this statement is a correct statement because noise levels above 80 decibels will be considered as noise pollution. If it is 150, obviously it will have impact on hearing capacity. Third, noise can cause sleeplessness, increased heartbeat and altered breathing patterns. So this is also correct. Second and third statements are correct. We are supposed to find out correct statements. Answer is B, 2 and 3 only. 37, answer is B. 38. In the context of eutrophication, consider the following statements. First, it is the natural aging of a lake that occurs due to the excessive nutrient enrichment of its water, right? So this statement is a correct statement. Due to excessive nutrients, there will be algal blooms leading to eutrophication. Second, the prime contaminants for eutrophication of the lake and rivers are carbon dioxide and methane. Incorrect. It is nitrogen and phosphorus, not carbon dioxide and methane. Third, it can lead to the occurrence of algal blooms and dead zone in the lake. So this is correct. First and third are correct. We are supposed to find out correct statements only, and that's why answer is C, 1 and 3 only. Question number 38, answer is C. 39. Read the following statements about species diversity carefully. First, a vast majority of species are found in the developed countries. Incorrect. We know that developed countries are present in temperate regions, and in temperate regions we do not have high biodiversity. High biodiversity is there in tropical countries. First statement is incorrect. Second, species diversity is less in the colder northern regions as compared to the tropical areas. So this statement is a correct statement. So only second statement is correct, and that's why answer is B, 2 only. Question number 39, answer is B. 40th question. Read the following statements carefully and select the correct answer from code given below. First, the greenhouse effect is an anthropogenic occurring phenomenon that is responsible for heating of Earth's surface and atmosphere. Incorrect statement. It is not anthropogenic. It is a natural phenomenon, and that's why first statement is incorrect. Yes, it does lead to heating up of Earth's surface and atmosphere, but it is not anthropogenic. Second, without any greenhouse gases, there would be no life on Earth, right? So this statement is correct statement. If greenhouse gases are not there, Earth's surface, Earth's temperature may become colder, and that temperature might not be helpful or might not be a temperature which is suitable for the occurrence of life. Third, carbon dioxide and methane are commonly known as greenhouse gases because they are responsible for absorbing sunlight. So this statement is again a correct statement, because carbon dioxide and methane are the major sources, major greenhouse gases, and they absorb sunlight, but indirectly. Sunlight which is absorbed by Earth's surface will be emitted during night in the form of heat, and that will be trapped up by these greenhouse gases. They do not directly absorb sunlight, but indirectly. Second and third statements, that's why, are correct statements, and hence answer is C, 2 and 3 only. Question number 40, answer is C. Next question is question number 41. With reference to ozone, consider the following statements. First, ozone is found in the upper part of the atmosphere called the tropopause. This statement is an incorrect statement. Why? Because we know that ozone is found in stratosphere, not in tropopause. And that's why first statement is an incorrect statement. Second, the thickness of ozone in a column of air from the ground to the top of the atmosphere is measured in terms of Dobson unit. Now this is also a correct statement regarding the thickness of ozone is measured in Dobson unit. Third, the depletion of ozone layer is particularly marked over the equatorial region. Incorrect. It is marked over the polar region, especially in the Antarctic region. So only second statement is correct, first and third are correct. We are supposed to find out which statements are, how many statements are not correct. So 2 statements are not correct, and that's why answer is B. 41, answer is B. 42. In the context of Environment Protection Act 1986, consider the following statements. First, this act gives full power to state government regarding protecting and improving the quality of the environment. Now this statement is an incorrect statement, because powers are not given to the state governments, powers are given to the central government. First statement is incorrect. Second, the purpose of this act is to implement the decisions of United Nations Conference on Human Environment of 1972, correct statement. EPA, Environment Protection Act, is enacted to implement this particular Stockholm Conference 1972. Third, the central government is authorized to set national standards for the quality of environment, right? So this statement is a correct statement. The central government can set the standards for the quality of environment, and on behalf of central government it is done by the Central Pollution Control Board. So third statement is also correct. So second and third statements are correct, and that's why answer is C, 2 and 3 only. 42, answer is C. 43. With reference to trickle drip irrigation, consider the following statements. First, it is a system of irrigation that was developed by the farmers to check wastage of water during irrigation, right? So this statement is a correct statement. Trickle drip irrigation makes sure that there is no wastage of water. Second, under this system, the rapidly flowing water from streams and springs is captured by bamboo pipes and is transported over hundreds of meters to drip irrigate. Incorrect statement, because this statement is of bamboo irrigation, which is practiced in the state of Meghalaya. Second statement is incorrect. Third, this system delivers the correct quantities of water to the roots of the plant nearby, not wasting any of the precious water, right? So this statement is a correct statement. In trickle drip irrigation, roots are irrigated or water is provided to roots directly so that there is no wastage. Fine. So third statement is correct and first statement is correct, and that's why answer is C, 1 and 3 only. 43, answer is C. 44. Coral reefs are found in which of the following regions of India? So coral reefs are there in Gulf of Mannar, Palk Bay, Lakshadweep is the islands which are made up of corals only. Fourth, Gulf of Kutch as well, and also Andaman and Nicobar. So in all these regions of India, we have the presence of coral reefs. So all 5 are correct, and that's why answer is D, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. 44, answer is D. 45. With reference to the obligations to signatory parties of Ramsar Convention, which of the following statements are correct? Right, so once a particular country becomes a member of Ramsar Convention, it has to take some steps. The question is about those steps. First, designating one or more wetlands for inclusion in the list of wetlands of international importance. Right, so yes, this statement is a correct statement, because once a particular country becomes a member of Ramsar Convention, it is supposed to come up with a list of wetlands of international importance. First statement is correct. Second, promoting wise judicious use of wetlands. So second obligation is wise use of wetlands. That means to make sure that there is no change in the ecological characteristic of wetlands. Second statement is correct. Third, promoting conservation of wetlands. So this must be true. Fourth, promoting training in the field of wetland research. Right. So this is also a correct statement regarding the Ramsar Convention. So all 4 statements are correct regarding the obligations to signatory parties of Ramsar Convention, and that's why answer is D, 1, 2, 3 and 4, as we are supposed to find out correct statements. Next now, 46. In the context of manure, read the following statements carefully. Right, so manure plays an important role in organic farming. Let us consider the statements. First, it is a mixture of organic and inorganic materials prepared under artificial conditions through the decomposition of bio-waste and agricultural residues. This statement is incorrect, because there are natural conditions that are used for the preparation of manure, not artificial conditions, and that's why first statement is incorrect. Second, it can be made through the process of aerobic or anaerobic decomposition. Right, so this statement is a correct statement, because decomposition is carried out both the types of bacteria, be it aerobic bacteria or anaerobic bacteria, and that's why manure can be produced from both aerobic or anaerobic processes. Third, it improves soil composition and upgrades its ability of water retention. Right, so when manure is added to soil, it improves soil quality and also increases water holding capacity of the soil. So second and third statements are correct. How many statements are correct? 2 statements are correct, and that's why answer is B. Next now, 47. Read the following statements carefully and select the correct answer from code given below. First, the Air Prevention and Control of Pollution Act was enacted by the Government of India in the wake of Stockholm Conference of United Nations on the human environment. Right, so this statement is also a correct statement. Along with EPA, Water Act as well as Air Act were enacted in the backdrop of United Nations Conference on Human Environment, popularly called as Stockholm Conference. First is correct. Second, under this act, all industries operating within designated air pollution control areas must obtain a consent permit from the state boards. Right, so this is also a correct statement regarding the question. Third, severe criminal charges can be introduced for violation of this act along with penalties. Now this is incorrect, because majorly Air Act deals with the crime related to air pollution through penalties. Right, so there are no severe criminal charges. It is through penalties that crimes against air pollution are dealt. That's why third statement is incorrect. So how many statements are incorrect? Only one is incorrect, and that's why it is our answer A. 48 and 47 answer is A. Now 48. Consider the following pairs. So on one hand we have biosphere zone and on other activity permitted. So we know that biosphere reserves are divided into three parts: core zone, which is a no-go zone, that means no activity will be permitted in core zone; buffer zone, some activities of human beings will be permitted; and in transition zone, all activities are permitted. First, core zone, it is matched with human interference is banned completely. So this is correct. Buffer zone, humans are free to perform their activity. It is incorrect. There are certain limitations. There are certain restrictions. Transition zone, human interference is allowed up to a limited extent. This is also incorrect. In fact, it is reversed. Right? So these explanations are reversed for buffer and transition zone, and that's why they are incorrect. So only one pair is correct, and that's why answer is A, one only. 48, answer is A. 49, which of the following are causes responsible for coral bleaching? So coral reefs is a symbiotic combination of coral polyps and zooxanthellae algae. These two organisms live together. But when due to certain factors, the zooxanthellae algae are left or they are expelled, that leads to decoloration of coral, that is also called as coral bleaching. Reasons are: first, ultraviolet radiation, yes, it does lead to coral bleaching; sedimentation, water pollution, changes in salinity of water body, and increase in temperature are also the causes of coral bleaching. So all these are the causes of coral bleaching, and that's why answer is 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 mentioned in option D. 49, answer is D. 50th question, consider the following statements. First, India accounts for about half of the recorded species of the world. It's not correct, right? So we know that it is around 7 to 8% of the recorded species that are there in India, not 50%. Second, the Trans-Himalayan region, which with its sparse vegetation has the richest wild sheep and goat community in the world. So second statement is correct statement. In Trans-Himalayan region, we have Trans-Himalayan steppes, and as a result of that, it is a rich region for wild sheep and goats. So only second is correct, and that's why answer is B, 2 only. Now the next question is 51. With reference to the categories of threatened species, consider the following pairs. So on one hand we have categories, and on other we have species. First category, endangered. It is matched with near verge of extinct. Right, so near verge of extinct are the species which are categorized under critically endangered and not under endangered, and that's why first pair is incorrect. First pair is incorrect. Second, rare. Species whose numbers are greatly reduced from those of the recent past. So rare species are those whose number is smaller and also their geographical area is smaller, and that's why second pair is also incorrect. Depleted. It is matched with species whose number is few or they live in such small areas. So this is actually an explanation of rare, and that's why third pair is also incorrect. Fourth, indeterminate. It is matched with information regarding their status is not known, and that is what is indeterminate means, and that's why fourth pair is correctly matched. We are supposed to find out which pairs are correctly matched, so it is only fourth pair, and that's why answer is A, 4 only. 51, answer is A. 52. Consider the following statements. First, acclimatization is the process in which temporary changes happen in an individual organism's body to address short-term issues brought on by environmental shifts. So this statement is a correct statement, because whenever there are short-term changes and those short-term changes lead to some body changes in the organism, that is what is called as acclimatization. First is correct. Second, speciation is a process which leads to formation of new genes in a population. So this is incorrect statement, because we know that speciation means the process of formation of new species, and when new genes are formed, that process is called as the process of mutation. The process of mutation, and that's why second statement is incorrect. Third, adaptation is the presence of particular characteristics in a species that enable it to live in its surrounding, right? So nothing wrong in this statement. Third statement is correct. So only first and third statements are correct. We are supposed to find out correct statement, and that's why answer is A, 1 and 3 only. 52, answer is A. 53. In the context of radiation, which of the following statements are not correct? First, radiation is a form of energy traveling through space. Correct statement. Radiation, it is a form of energy only. Second, electromagnetic radiation such as short wavelength ultraviolet radiations UV are called as non-ionizing radiations. Incorrect. UV radiations are ionizing radiations. Yes, they are short wavelength radiations and they are ionizing, not non-ionizing, and that's why this statement is incorrect. Third, mutation in cells can occur as an outcome of biological damage from non-ionizing radiations, and this can result in cancer. This statement is an incorrect statement. Yes, due to exposure to radiations, but not non-ionizing, to ionizing radiations, there will be mutations in the genes and that may lead to cancer, right? So this non-ionizing radiation part makes this statement incorrect. It should be ionizing radiations. So second and third statements are incorrect. We are supposed to find out statements which are not correct, and that's why answer is 2 and 3 mentioned in option B. 53, answer is B. 54. With reference to the categorization of species as per their ecological status in the wild, consider the following pairs. So on one hand we have categories and on other we have their meaning. First category, critically endangered. It is matched with a species that has high risk of extinction in the wild in near future. So this is not near future, it should be immediate future for critically endangered, and that's why first pair is incorrect. Second, vulnerable. A species that has high risk of extinction in the wild in the medium term future. So this statement is a correct statement for vulnerable. Third, near threatened. A species that is currently the focus of a conservation program. So those species which are a focus of conservation program, they are called as conservation species status. Their status is conservation status, conservation species status. It is not related to near threatened. Near threatened are those species which may go into the category of vulnerable, and that's why third pair is also incorrect. Only second is correct. We are supposed to find out which are correctly matched, how many are correctly matched, and that's why answer is A, 1 only. Only second pair is correctly matched. 55. In the context of social forestry, which of the following statements are not correct? First, the term social forestry was first used in Forest Policy of 1988. This statement is an incorrect statement. This social forestry was firstly used in 1976 by National Commission on Agriculture. First statement is incorrect. Second, it aims at raising plantation by a common man so as to meet the growing demand for timber, fuel wood, fodder, etc. to reduce pressure on traditional forest area, right? So social forestry was majorly started to make sure that the needs of human beings, needs of common man are met without any damage to the existing forest. Second statement is correct. Third, with the concept of social forestry, the government formally recognized the local community's rights to forest resources, right? So this is also a correct statement. Social forestry makes sure that people also have right on the forest resources. So only second and third statements are correct, and that's why answer is 2 and 3 only. First statement is incorrect. Next now, 56. In the context of Biodiversity Act 2002, which of the following statements are correct? First, the main objective of this act is to protect India's rich biodiversity and ban on the hunting of endangered species. So till this statement is okay, but this part, ban on the hunting, is an objective of Wildlife Protection Act 1972, not of Biodiversity Act, and that's why first statement is incorrect. Second, this act provides a framework for setting up of a biodiversity authority at central, state and local level. So this statement is a correct statement. At central level we have National Biodiversity Board. At state level we have National Biodiversity Authority NBA. At state level we have State Biodiversity Boards BBB, SBB, and at local level we have Biodiversity Management Committee BMC. Right? So second statement is correct. Third, All foreign nationals or organizations require prior approval of National Biodiversity Authority (NBA) for obtaining biological resources and associated knowledge for any use. Right? So this statement is a correct statement. All foreign nationals or organizations who want to use biological resources of India, they have to take permission of NBA. Right? So only second and third statements, that's why are correct statements, and hence answer is B, 2 and 3 only. Question number 56, answer is B. Next now, 57. With reference to national park, consider the following statements. First, it is an area protected and preserved by law for the protection and preservation of flora and fauna within its boundary. Right? So that is what is the purpose of national parks. First statement is correct. Second, Sundarban National Park is the first national park to be established in India. So it is not Sundarban, it is Jim Corbett, and that's why second statement is incorrect. Right? So Jim Corbett was the first national park in India. Third, a national park is established under the provisions of Wildlife Protection Act 1972. Correct statement. Wildlife sanctuaries and national parks and conservation reserves along with community reserves are established under Wildlife Protection Act 1972. Third is correct. So how many statements are correct? So first and third are correct, and that's why answer is C, 1 and 3. 57, answer is C. 58. Which of the following are the objectives of the Wildlife Protection Act 1972? First, protection and preservation of different species of plants. Yes, this is also one of the objectives of WPA, Wildlife Protection Act. Second, ban on the hunting of wildlife. Correct. Third, organization of wildlife parks. This is also correct. National parks, wildlife sanctuaries. Fourth, penalties for violation. Yes, there are penalties which may be in the form of criminal penalties as well. Fifth, breeding and management of wildlife. It is also one of the important objectives of Wildlife Protection Act 1972. So all 5 are correct objectives of the Wildlife Protection Act, and that's why answer is D, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. 58, answer is D. 59. Read the following statements about wildlife sanctuaries carefully. First, it is a protected area where wild animals and birds are kept and encouraged to increase their population. Right? So that is a correct objective of wildlife sanctuaries. First is correct. Second, a wildlife sanctuary is established under the provisions of Biodiversity Act 2002. Incorrect. Under the provisions of Wildlife Protection Act 1972. Third, a reserve forest area cannot be notified as a wildlife sanctuary. This is also an incorrect statement. Reserve forest area can be notified as wildlife sanctuary, but it cannot be notified as national park. Right? So second and third statements are incorrect. We are supposed to find out statements which are not correct, and that's why answer is 2 and 3 mentioned in option C. 59, answer is C. 60. In the context of Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species CITES, consider the following statements. So CITES is an important convention, and it was enforced in 1975. First statement. This convention was drawn by the Global Environment Facility GEF for the protection of wildlife. Incorrect statement. GEF came into being in 1992, that means in the Earth Summit. Right? In Earth Summit, GEF came into being, and CITES is implemented since 1975, and that's why first statement is incorrect. Second, the CITES is concerned with the monitoring of both the legal as well as illegal trade in wildlife across the world. Again, this statement is an incorrect statement because the CITES deal with legal trade. Illegal trade in wildlife is looked after by an organization called as traffic. Right? And that's why second statement is also incorrect. First and second are correct. Answer is both 1 and also both statements are incorrect. We are supposed to find out correct statements. So answer is D, neither 1 nor 2. Question number 60, answer is D. 61. Consider the following pairs. So on one hand we have national parks and on other we have states. We are supposed to find out which pairs are correctly matched. So Corbett National Park is matched with Uttarakhand. It is correct. Second is Bandhavgarh National Park. It is matched with UP, which is incorrect. because Bandhavgarh is there in the state of Madhya Pradesh. Third, Dudhwa National Park is matched with Jammu and Kashmir, which is again incorrect. It is Uttar Pradesh, where we have Dudhwa National Park. Fourth is Dachigam National Park. It is matched with Himachal Pradesh, which is also incorrect. It is Jammu and Kashmir. Right? So only one pair is correctly matched, and that's why answer is A, only one only. 61, answer is A. 62. With reference to origins of food plants, consider the following pairs. So on one hand we have plants, and on other their region of origin. First, potato. It is matched with Turkey and Afghanistan, which is incorrect because potato originated in South America. Second, wheat is matched with Central America, which is also an incorrect pair. Wheat, its origin is in Turkey and Afghanistan. Third, orange, it is matched with China, it is correct. Rice, it is matched with India, that is also correct. So only third and fourth pair are correct. We are supposed to find out correctly matched pair. Answer is B, 3 and 4 only. 63. Consider the following pairs. So on one hand we have type of interaction, biotic interaction, and on other we have its effect. Let us consider the pairs. We are supposed to find out pairs which are correctly matched. How many pairs are correctly matched? That is what we are supposed to find. So first, predation. Its effect is one species benefit while the other species is harmed and inhibited, right? So this pair is correct. Second, commensalism. One species is inhibited while the other species is unaffected. So this is not commensalism, it is amensalism, because in commensalism what happens? One species is benefited and other remains unaffected. Second is incorrect. Third, mutualism. Interaction is favorable to both species. This is correct because in mutualism both the species are benefited. Fourth, amensalism. One species benefit and other species is neither harmed nor inhibited. So this statement is an incorrect statement. Actually it is reverse. So commensalism should be one species benefit and other remains unaffected, and amensalism should be one species is inhibited and other remains unaffected. So second and fourth pairs are interchanged. So only correct are 1 and 3. So how many are correct? 2 are correct, and that's why answer is B. Only 2 pairs are correct. Next now, 64. In the context of saprophytes, consider the following statements. First, they are organisms that obtain their nutrition from dead organic matter. So this statement is a correct statement. Saprophytes are those organisms that are dependent on dead organic matter for their food and energy. First is correct. Second, they play an important role in the process of decomposition and recycling of organic matter, thus releasing nutrients back into the ecosystem, right? So when they carry out the decomposition of dead organic matter, they make sure that the nutrients are added back to soil or water, right? So second statement is correct. Third, examples of saprophytes include fungi, mushrooms, etc., right? So this is correct. So all these 3 statements are correct regarding saprophytes. We are supposed to find out correct statements. Answer is D, 1, 2 and 3. 65. With reference to ecological succession, consider the following statements. First, primary succession occurs where no community previously existed. Right, so this statement is a correct statement regarding primary succession because primary succession occurs in a barren habitat. Second, secondary succession takes place where a disturbance did not eliminate all life and nutrients from the environment. Right, so this statement is also a correct statement regarding secondary succession because in secondary succession, ecological succession occurs in such a region where conditions are favorable for the growth of life, right? So first 2 are correct. Third, the secondary succession is relatively slower than primary succession as the new species have to adjust with the surrounding. Incorrect statement. Secondary succession, as conditions for life are still there, it is faster compared to primary. So first and second are correct. We are supposed to find out correct statements. Answer is A, 1 and 2 only. Next, 66. With reference to the nitrogen, consider the following statements. First, nitrogen is a compound of amino acids and urea, is a component of amino acids and urea, right? So that statement is correct. Second, atmospheric nitrogen can be used directly by the living systems. Incorrect statement. So we know that atmospheric nitrogen cannot be used, and that's why there is a need of nitrogen fixation process. Second is incorrect. Third, nitrogen in organic form is soluble in nature and can be used by plants. Again incorrect. Nitrogen in its organic form is insoluble, and that's why it cannot be used by plants. Second and third statements are incorrect statements. We are supposed to find out correct statements. So only one is correct, and that's why answer is A, one only. 66, answer is A. 67. Which of the following are examples of artificial ecosystems? Right, so artificial ecosystems, grasslands are not artificial, ponds are also not artificial, aquariums are artificial, lakes are not artificial, parks are artificial. Right, as it does not mention which park, we'll have to infer that it is talking about the parks that we have in different societies. So third and fifth are the artificial ecosystems, and that's why answer is B, 3 and 5. 67, answer is B. 68. In the context of sulfur cycle, consider the following statements. First, sulfur in the form of sulfates is taken up by plants and incorporated into proteins through metabolic processes. Right, so this statement is a correct statement. Sulfur in the form of sulfate is present in the rocks, and it is taken up by living organisms, and it is incorporated in proteins. Second, sulfur bound in living organisms is carried back to the soil and aquatic ecosystems through decomposition and excretion. Right, so the sulfur which is used by producers and consumers, it is again restored back into soil or in aquatic ecosystem through the process of decomposition. Second is correct. Third, the sulfur cycle operates independently of other biogeochemical cycles. Incorrect. Right, because these cycles, these biogeochemical cycles like carbon cycle, nitrogen cycle, water cycle, oxygen cycle, sulfur cycle, phosphorus cycle, they are being carried out simultaneously in the environment. Right, and that's why third statement is incorrect. First two are correct. We are supposed to find out statements which are correct, and that's why answer is A. Answer is B, 1 and 2 only. 68, answer is B. 69. Consider the following statements. So the question is on measurement of biodiversity. So biodiversity can be measured using alpha biodiversity, beta biodiversity, and gamma diversity. Let us consider. First, alpha diversity refers to the diversity within a particular area or ecosystem and is usually expressed by the number of species. Right, so alpha diversity is nothing but species richness. How many species are there? It is nothing but species richness. First is correct. Second, beta diversity describes the overall species diversity across communities within a larger geographical area. So this statement is incorrect because beta diversity is diversity amongst ecosystem. It does not take into diverse or larger area into account, and that's why second statement is incorrect. Actually, this statement is true for gamma diversity. Third, gamma diversity is a comparison of diversity between ecosystem. Now this statement is a statement of beta diversity, and that's why second and third statements are interchanged. Only first is correct, and that's why answer is 1 only, given in option A. So question number 69, answer is A. 70. Consider the following features. Which of the given above are characteristic features of Sahara Desert? Let us consider the features. First, hot and parched dry climate. Correct statement, right? Because in desert we will have this kind of climate. Second, prolonged rainy season. Incorrect. In desert, especially Sahara Desert, rainy season is shorter. Third, cloudless sky, right? So as there is no moisture, obviously clouds will not be there. Third is correct. Fourth, evaporation is less than precipitation. It should be other way around. Evaporation is more than precipitation. Fourth is incorrect. Fifth, freezing cold nights. So this is correct because in desert area we know that during daytime temperatures will be very high and during nighttime temperatures will fall as well. So fifth statement is correct. So correct is first, third and fifth, which is mentioned in option B. Right. So question number 70, answer is B. 71. With reference to the Forest Conservation Act of 1980, read the following statements carefully. First, this was the first Forest Act enacted in India for its conservation. Incorrect statement. FCA, Forest Conservation Act 1980, was the second act. Initially, there was Indian Forest Act 1927. So, first statement is incorrect. Second, as per this act, prior approval of the central government is required for diversion of forest land for non-forest purpose. This statement is a correct statement. It's the objective of Forest Conservation Act 1980. Second is correct. Third, this act empowers state governments to designate protected forests and may prohibit the felling of trees, quarrying and the removal of forest produce from these forests. Right. So, this statement is a correct statement regarding the act, because in order to protect forests, these activities are regulated. Right. So, third is correct. So, second and third statements are correct statements, but we are supposed to find out how many are incorrect. So, only first is incorrect, and that's why answer is only 1. Question number 71, answer is A. And you must be aware, Forest Conservation Act is being amended. Recently, the amendments were passed by Lok Sabha. Now it will be sent to Rajya Sabha, and then whenever President gives his or her assent, it will be converted into Act. Right. So there is a process going on right now. Next question, 72. In the context of water, consider the following statements. First, surface tension of water allows movement of water into and through organisms, as well as rise of groundwater in the soil. So this statement is a correct statement, because surface tension, that means cohesion of the water molecules, allows it to flow in the organisms, and also rise of groundwater. First statement is correct. Second, water has unique thermal properties which protect aquatic organisms from seasonal and diurnal differences in temperature and prevents complete freezing of oceans and lakes. Right. So this feature is there. We know that the specific heat of water is more, and that's why water has a tendency to maintain its temperature. Second statement is correct. So we are supposed to find out which of these statements are correct. Both statements are correct, and that's why answer is C, both 1 and 2. Question number 72, answer is C. 73. With reference to basic elements present in an organism, consider the following pairs. So on one hand we have elements, and on other we have their functions. We are supposed to find out which of the pairs are correctly matched. First pair, carbon. Its function is, it is considered as the basic constituent of life. Right. So this is correct. Second, phosphorus. Its function is, it is the structural component of protein. Incorrect. Phosphorus is a structural component of nucleic acid, not of protein. Third, sulfur. Its explanation is, it is a major solute in animal cells. Again, incorrect. Sulfur is the structural component of proteins. Fourth, calcium. It is the structural component of bone. Correct statement. So first and fourth pairs are correctly matched. We are supposed to find out correctly matched pairs only. Answer is 1 and 4 mentioned in option B. So 73, answer is B. 74. Consider the following statements. First, neritic zone is a region of shallow water enough to support plants rooted in the seafloor. Right. So this statement is a correct statement. Neritic zone is also called as a continental shelf habitat, and in continental shelf the oceanic depth is not very high, and that's why we will be able to find rooted plants in neritic zone. First statement is correct. Second, neritic zone is rich in the density and diversity of organisms owing to the penetration of light in the area. Right. So this statement is also a correct statement. Given its shallowness, we will have penetration of light. Third, Phytoplankton and zooplankton are not found in neritic zone. Incorrect statement. In fact, phytoplanktons and zooplanktons, given the favorable conditions in neritic zone, will be abundant. So first and second statements are correct. We are supposed to find out correct statements only, and that's why answer is B, 1 and 2 only. Question number 74, answer is B. 75. In the context of tropical rainforest, consider the following statements. First, these forests are found in the hot and humid regions near the equator. Right? So, correct statement. In equatorial region, we have tropical rainforest, and that's why these forests are also called as equatorial rainforest. Second, these forests witness abundant rainfall that occurs almost daily, and the temperature varies little over the year. Right, so this statement is also a correct statement. Given their proximity to equator, we have convergence of trade winds giving rains almost daily, and also in the equatorial region, we will not have much changes in the temperature throughout the year. So second statement is also correct. Third, these forests are characterized by a wide variety of tall trees and an open canopy. So you'll have to read the statement till the end. So this part makes this statement incorrect, right? Because in tropical rainforest, yes, we have huge varieties of tall trees, but it is not open canopy, it will be a closed canopy. And that's why third statement is incorrect. 75, answer is A. 76. Consider the following organisms. Arrange the given above organisms in correct sequence of transfer of nutrients and energy in a food chain from bottom to top and choose the correct answer using the codes given below. That means we'll have to organize these organisms in a food chain. Right? So obviously in the food chain, firstly we will have producers. So grasses are producers. Now grasses are being eaten up by grasshoppers. These grasshoppers may be eaten up by sparrow, and then sparrow will be a food for eagle. So answer should be 2, 1, 4, 3, which is mentioned in option D. Right? So answer is D, 2, 1, 4, 3. 76, answer is D. 77. Consider the following pairs. So on one hand we have zones, and on other we have their features. So these are the zones of lake. Let us consider that this is a lake. This region will be called as littoral zone. This region will be called as littoral zone. Again, this will be littoral zone. Right? Now this lake will have two parts. First is called as a lemnitic zone. Lemnitic zone, and this part is called as profundal zone. Profundal zone. Fine. So these are three parts of lake: littorals on both the margins, then limnatic, and then profundal zone. Let us consider the pairs. We are supposed to find out pairs which are not correct. First, littoral zone. It is matched with deep water part of lake or pond. So littoral zones are not deep water, they are in fact the boundaries, and that's why first pair is incorrect. Second, limnitic zone. Topmost zone near the shore of a lake or pond. Right? So again, this is an incorrect, because limnitic is not the zone which is near the shore of a lake or pond. It is littoral, which is near the shores. Third, profundal zone. It is matched with open surface water surrounded by the littoral zone. Incorrect. This is an explanation of limnitic. So all three pairs are not correct. So we are supposed to find out not correct pairs only, and that's why answer is D, 1, 2 and 3. 77, answer is D. 78. With reference to the ecosystem, read the following statements carefully. First, the term ecosystem was coined by Sir Arthur Tansley in 1935. Correct statement. First statement is correct. Second, it is a self-regulating and self-sustaining structural and functional unit of biosphere. That is a definition of ecosystem. Third, Ecosystems can be small or large and are placed in nature side by side, right? So the size of ecosystems vary and they are placed side by side. For example, a forest ecosystem will be along with grassland ecosystem nearby, and this grassland ecosystem will be placed along with desert ecosystem. So yes, third statement is also a correct statement. So all these three statements are correct. We are supposed to find out correct statements. All three are correct, and that's why answer is D, 1, 2 and 3. 79. In the context of decomposers, consider the following statements. First, decomposers are mostly microorganisms such as bacteria, fungi, protozoa, etc. Right? So first statement is a correct statement. Second, they attack the dead remains of producers and consumers and degrade the complex organic substances into simpler compounds. So this statement is also a correct statement regarding decomposers. Third, the most important role of decomposers is mineralization, which is the conversion of dead organic matter into simpler forms of nutrients that can be used up by producers again. So third statement is also a correct statement. All these three statements are correct regarding decomposers. We are supposed to find out correct statements only. Answer is D, 1, 2 and 3. 80th. In the context of regulations related to oceans, which of the following statements are correct? First, the ocean areas beyond the territorial limit is governed by the concept of freedom of high seas. Now this statement is an incorrect statement, because now the oceans beyond territorial limits are governed by the concept of common heritage of humans. Earlier it was governed by the concept of freedom of the high seas, and that's why first statement is incorrect. Second, under the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, UNCLOS, every country has an exclusive economic zone EEZ for up to a distance of 200 nautical miles from the shoreline, right? So this statement is a correct statement. Every country beyond territorial waters has EEZ, which is up to 200 nautical miles. So second statement is correct. Third, every country has the exclusive rights to exploit the resources of its exclusive economic zone. This is also a correct statement regarding EEZ. In EEZ, whatever resources are found, right on those resources is of a country along whose territorial waters that EEZ exist. So second and third statements are correct. First is incorrect. We are supposed to find out correct statements. Answer is B, 2 and 3 only. Question number 80, answer is B. Now we will be starting with current affairs questions. 81. In the context of Meri Life Mera Swachh Shehar, consider the following statements. First, the campaign is led by the Ministry of Drinking Water and Sanitation in collaboration with local authorities, NGOs and citizens across the country. Right? So the statement is incorrect statement, because the campaign is by Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, not by Ministry of Drinking Water. Right? So it is by Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. So first statement is incorrect. Second, the primary objective of the campaign is to promote the adoption of the 3R mantra, that is reduce, reuse, recycle in the urban India. Second statement is correct. Third, the vision is to create a circular economy that minimizes waste and maximizes resource utilization. Right? So this is also a correct statement regarding the vision of the campaign. So only second and third statements are correct. We are supposed to find out how many statements are correct. So only 2 are correct, and that's why answer is B, only 2. 82. With reference to the term Shavuot, consider the following statements. First, it is a Muslim festival celebrated for exactly 50 days, which holds historical and theological importance. Incorrect statement. It is a Jewish festival. It is not Muslim festival, it is a Jewish festival. So first statement is incorrect. Second, it was originally an agricultural festival marking the beginning of the wheat harvest, right? So this statement is correct statement. Shavuot is a Jewish festival which marks wheat harvest, beginning of wheat harvest. And that's why only second statement is correct, and thus answer is B. 82, answer is B. 83. In the context of International Day for Biological Diversity, read the following statements. So International Day for Biological Diversity is celebrated on 22nd of May. Let us consider the statements. First, United Nations General Assembly proclaimed the celebration of this year to increase understanding and awareness of biodiversity issues. First statement is correct. Second, it calls for urgent and integrated action to reflect biodiversity considerations in all sectors of the global economy. Now, this statement is not related to the International Day for Biological Diversity celebration. It is related with the Global Biodiversity Framework, which came into being in December 2022. And that's why second statement is incorrect. Third, the theme of this year is From Agreement to Action, Build Back Biodiversity. This statement is correct. So only first and third statements are correct, and we are supposed to find out how many statements are correct, and only two statements are correct, and that's why answer is B. 83, answer is B. 84. Recently, Utsaha portal was seen in news. In this regard, consider the following statements. First, this portal was launched by the Ministry of Education in collaboration with Niti Aayog. Incorrect statement. It is launched by UGC, University Grant Commission. Second, it is a comprehensive platform that provides detailed information about University Grant Commission's initiatives for qualitative reforms in higher education, right? So it is a platform that provides information about the initiatives taken by UGC for improving higher education quality. Second statement is correct. Third, this portal covers a wide range of topics including curriculum development, faculty development, research, and student support, right? So third statement is correct. So only second and third statements are correct, and that's why answer is C, 2 and 3 only. 84, answer is C. 85. With reference to Commonwealth Day 2023, consider the following statements. So Commonwealth Day is celebrated on 24th of May. Let us consider the statements. First, it is the annual celebration that is observed on the birthday of Queen Victoria of England. Correct statement it is. Second, the theme of this year's Commonwealth Day is Forging a Sustainable and Peaceful Common Future. So this statement is also correct regarding Commonwealth Day theme of this year. Third, recently a request was made by the Prime Minister of United Kingdom to rename Commonwealth Day to Empire Day. Now this statement is an incorrect statement because earlier Commonwealth Day was known as Empire Day. In 1950s, its name was changed from Empire Day to Commonwealth Day, and that's why third statement is an incorrect statement. So we are supposed to find out how many statements are incorrect. Only one is incorrect, and that's why answer is A, only one. 86. Consider the following statements. First, Tiger Shark 40 is a joint naval exercise between Bangladesh and Indian Navy. Incorrect. It is a joint exercise between Bangladesh and USA. So first statement is incorrect. Second, the main objective of the joint training exercise is to improve the relations between involved countries and to increase the professional capabilities of the special forces of both countries, right? So that is the objective of Tiger Shark 40 exercise between Bangladesh and USA. Second statement is correct, and that's why answer is B, 2 only. Next, 87. Read the following statements carefully about the New Parliament House. So New Parliament House project is also called as Central Vista project. First statement, it is surrounded by the old Parliament House India Gate, Vice President's House, and National War Memorial. So first statement is correct. Second, a new parliament building has an increased seating capacity as India aims to expand its parliamentary membership. So this is also a correct statement regarding the new parliament house. Third, the design of Lok Sabha Hall is based on lotus theme that symbolizes India's national flower, and the Rajya Sabha Hall is based on the peacock theme. So it is reversed. Lok Sabha Hall theme is based on peacock and Rajya Sabha Hall theme is based on lotus, and that's why third statement becomes incorrect. So which of the statements are correct? Only first and second are correct, and that's why answer is C, 1 and 2. So question number 87, answer is C. 88 now. In the context of Exposat mission, which of the following statements are correct? So Exposat is a mission of ISRO. First statement, this is India's first dedicated polarimetry mission to study various dynamics of bright astronomical X-ray sources in extreme conditions. Right? So Exposat mission is X-ray polarimetry satellite mission, and it is launched by ISRO to know about the sources of X-rays, because on the basis of that we will be able to get more information about the sources from which X-rays are being emitted. So first statement is correct. Second, this mission is a collaboration project between ISRO and NASA. Incorrect. Collaboration project between ISRO and NASA is NISAR, not Exposat. Third, it will carry two payloads, polarimeter instrument in X-rays, POLIX, and X-ray spectroscopy and timing, SPECT, in the geostationary orbit. Incorrect statement. Right? So these are payloads are correct, but not in geostationary orbit, in low Earth orbit, and that's why third statement is also incorrect. So only one is correct, and that's why answer is A, 1 only. Question number 88, answer is A. 89. With reference to the Urban Climate Film Festival, which of the following statements are correct? First, it is organized by the Union Ministry of Culture in collaboration with National Film Development Corporation of India. Right? So this statement is an incorrect statement because it is organized by National Institute of Urban Affairs. First statement is incorrect. Second, it showcases award-winning films from various countries including India. So second statement is a correct statement. Third, it aims to educate viewers about the impact of climate change on urban settlements and need for adopting sustainable urban development. Right? So the objective is to make people aware about the sustainable urban development. So third statement is correct. So only second and third are correct statements, and that's why answer is B, 2 and 3 only. 89, answer is B. 90. Consider the following statements. First, alternative investment funds, AIFs, are privately pooled investment vehicles that collect funds from investors for the purpose of investing. So this statement is a correct statement. AIFs, they collect fund from private investors, and those funds are then invested. Second, alternative investment funds, AIFs, are regulated by the Reserve Bank of India. Incorrect. They are regulated by SEBI, not by RBI, and that's why second statement is incorrect. So which of the statements are correct? So only first is correct, and that's why answer is A, 1 only. 90th question, answer is A. 91. In the context of the term DAM, D-A-M, which of the following statements are correct? First, it is a malicious software that possesses the capability to infiltrate Android devices and gain unauthorized access to various sensitive components. So first statement is a correct statement. DAM is a malicious software that penetrates Android systems. Second, it primarily spreads through third-party websites or applications obtained from untrusted or unknown sources. This is also a correct statement regarding DAM. Third, it utilizes the advanced encryption standard encryption algorithm, AES algorithm. So that is a correct statement. So how many, which of the statements are correct? So all three are correct, and that's why answer is D, 1, 2 and 3. 91, answer is D. 92. With reference to forum shopping, consider the following statements. First, it refers to petitioners managing to get their cases heard by a particular judge or bench to ensure a favorable order, right? So this first statement is not related to forum shopping. It is related to bench hunting, because in forum shopping they try to get a specific court, not a specific bench or judge, but they try to get specific court. And this statement where they try to get a particular judge or bench, it is called as bench hunting, and that's why first statement is incorrect. Second, the practice of forum shopping is illegal in India, right? So it is not illegal in India as of now. Third, this practice encourages competition and innovation among courts and judges to improve their efficiency and quality of service. So this is one of the advantages of bench hunting, right? So when bench is hunted, obviously it will lead to a kind of competition, and that may increase the service quality. Third is correct statement. So which statements are correct? Only third is correct, and that's why answer is B, 3 only. 91 and 92, answer is B. 93. In the context of Nilgiri marten, which of the following statements are correct? Nilgiri marten is a species. First, it is a rare species endemic to the northeastern regions of India. Incorrect. If it is Nilgiri, obviously it will be in Western Ghats, not in northeastern India. First statement is incorrect. Second, it is vulnerable species listed under in Schedule 2 of Wildlife Protection Act 1972. Correct statement it is. Second statement is correct. We are supposed to find out correct statement. Answer is B, 2 only. 93, answer is B. 94. Recently, Transport Outlook 2023 report was published. In this regard, read the following statements. First, this report is published by the International Transport Forum, ITF, at the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. So it is OECD's report. First statement is correct. Second, it focuses on infrastructure investment decisions and transport policies that make cities more livable. Second statement is also a correct statement. Third, this report stresses on the need for decarbonization of transport sector. So this statement, third statement, is also a correct statement. So all three statements are correct, and that's why answer is D, 1, 2 and 3. 94, answer is D. 95. Consider the following statements with respect to Machilipatnam port. First, this port is a proposed deep sea port on the coast of the Bay of Bengal, right? So it is proposed in the state of Andhra Pradesh. Second, this port will cater to exports from Karnataka to its neighboring states. Incorrect. It is for Andhra Pradesh. First statement is correct. We are supposed to find out not correct statements. Answer is B, 2 only. Question number 95, answer is B. 96. Read the following statements about ONDC Academy. First, it is an initiative of the Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade. Right? So this statement is a correct statement. ONDC is an initiative of DPIIT. Second, it is an application or software with specifications designed to foster open, unbundled and interoperable open network. So this statement is an incorrect statement because it is not an app or a software. Third, this academy is a repository of educational and informative textual and video content programs in multiple Indian languages. So this is also a correct statement. Third statement is also correct. First and third statements are correct. So how many statements are correct? Only 2 are correct, and that's why answer is B. 96, answer is B. 97. The President of India can appoint an acting Chief Justice of India under which of the following situations? So acting Chief Justice of India can be appointed when CJI is temporarily absent, when CJI is unable to perform duties, when the office of CJI becomes vacant. But acting CJI cannot be appointed when an impeachment motion against the sitting CJI is initiated. And that's why answer is 1, 3 and 4, which is mentioned in option C. Question number 97, answer is C. 99. INS Wagshir was seen in news recently. In this regard, consider the following statements. Right? So, INS Wagshir is a part of Project 75. First statement. It is a submarine which is indigenously designed and developed by Mazagaon Dock Shipbuilders Limited (MDL) in collaboration with DRDO. Incorrect statement. It is not indigenous. It is a part of Project 75, which is a joint collaboration between India and France. Second, it is a diesel-electric attack submarine based on Scorpion class of submarine designed to further strengthening the country's naval capabilities. Second statement is a correct statement. INS Wagshir is a Scorpion class submarine. So only second statement is correct, and that's why answer is B, 2 only. 98, answer is B. 99. The term blazars pertains to which of the following? So blazars are the type of galaxy that is powered by humongous black hole known for emitting highly energetic particles and radiations, right? So it is a type of galaxy, and that's why answer is D. 99, answer is D. Last question now, 100th. Recently, a rupees 75 coin was introduced on new Parliament inauguration day. In this context, consider the following statements. First, it is a newly introduced commemorative coin which is uniquely manufactured by using a single metal. So, this statement is an incorrect statement because it consists of 4 metals like silver, copper, nickel and zinc. It does not have only one metal, it has 4 metals, and that's why first statement is incorrect. Second, the face of the coin is adorned with the new renowned lion capital of Ashoka pillar at its center, right? So this statement is a correct statement. Third, the coin's metallic worth surpasses its legal value. That is also a correct statement. So only 2 statements are correct, and that's why answer is B, only 2. Right? So that is about our discussion of this test on environment and ecology. Thank you.